And so today we're going to begin talking about using PowerPoint. This first module is going to be very simple and straightforward. If you don't already know, most of you probably do, PowerPoint is used to create slideshow presentations. These are often companions to more lengthy papers or reports or what have you. And in general, when conducting a presentation, a PowerPoint serves as a visual guide for the audience of the presentation and can also help the speaker at times. And so we're just going to go over the basics of how to use PowerPoint. It is very similar to the previous two. So once you've got it installed and set up, your your backstage view, I keep forgetting what that's called because I am not used to calling it that, is the same as ever. You've got your new, open, all of these here you can select. We already have a new presentation up. So we're going to begin by looking at how to set the theme. And these themes are going to apply across every slide in your presentation. So what we do, we come down to actually explain it, come to Themes in the Design tab, select the drop-down arrow, and we have this huge selection of themes to pick from. Let's go with something that looks like it would have text that pops out really good. We'll go with this. And as you can see, the change is reflected in our slide. You can see over here on the left a preview of what each slide will look like. Off to the right, you have some suggestions for how to style each slide. I usually ignore these, but you may have to use them in your SAM project, so be aware of that. And each of these themes has a collection of variants. Here are some basic ones you have access to. Let's go with this blue one. But if you, for some reason, decide, I don't like any of these variants, you can open this and you can choose your theme color palette. And just like with Word and Excel, you have a bunch of different options to choose from. And your SAM project is likely going to ask you to select one of these. We're not going to, though. So when you're looking at your PowerPoint slides, everything is going to be broken up into a bunch of smaller pieces. Like here, we have a title and subtitle. We can just add these however we want. We'll call this PowerPoint Module 1. And normally I reserve the subtitle for a byline. So put in my name. Depending on your situation, you may need to put in something more specific than that. But generally, that's what I do. Now, if we want to add a slide, we have a clear and obvious button here on the Home tab that we can use. And each of these is going to serve a different purpose. You've got your title slide for the title of the entire presentation, title and content. This is going to be the one you use the most. Section header. Say you break your presentation up into sections. Obviously, this is where they're going to start. They don't necessarily always have to. You can have this here, a title and content with two columns for content. I tend to use this for a bulleted list and an image. And then here you have a comparison, title for the whole slide, 2 titles for each of the content columns. This, as the name suggests, is fit for comparing 2 things. And that makes up the general ones that I use. I have never used any of these other ones. You may find yourself needing to. But in general, I find these first 5 here are the ones that you'll use 90% of the time. So let's do a title and content. And every time you create a new slide, you have these placeholders here. By clicking in the I'm still used to calling them cells. Clicking in the box, that goes away. It is replaced with a cursor. Let's just call this a sample title. We'll just do some text. By default, your text is entered as a bulleted list. So text 1, text 2, 3. And just like any bulleted list in any other software, you can change the indent level. As with the others, there is this box here that has your font, color, size, effects. But we want to increase the list level for our current slide. Or not our current slide, our current entry. So we click that and it shoves that over by 1. And you see it gets a little bit smaller. The line spacing decreases just a bit. And let's say we want this one to be 2 over, and that's even smaller. And of course, you have your decrease button right next to it. Let's go back and call this text 4. Now, this looks a bit light. So what we can do in PowerPoint is we can triple click in one of these boxes to select all the text, or to select a paragraph. Here you would see double click for a word, triple click to select all of text 1, text 2, or sample title. And let's make this bold. And while we're at it, let's also come back to our main title and italicize this. And we'll also apply a text shadow. This is something that is unique to the font section of PowerPoint, in that you can apply a shadow to make it look just a little bit nicer, make it pop a little. This is just a predefined shadow. It's not like the more detailed options you have in Word. What else do we have that we can discuss here? I don't think so. Let's see. Let's go into another slide here. Let's do a side by side. I'll quickly show you how to that there. Inserting images. You generally have 2 options. When your content sections are blank, you have all of these that you can choose from. You have tables, charts, smart art, 3D models, but the main ones we are going to be interested in this week are pictures and stock images. If you click pictures here, it'll take you to your file browser to look for images that you have saved to your computer. If you click stock images, it's going to bring up a list for you to choose from. You can also come over here to the Insert tab to select one of these from here. For now, we're going to insert a stock image right here. It's going to bring up a bunch of options for us. Let's go with these umbrellas. Give it a moment and it appears. If you want to resize this, it works very similar to Word. You can grab these resize pins in the corners and it'll resize them proportionally. Undo that. You can also use this to pull it in like this. If you just want it to resize on one axis, then you grab the ones on the sides. Again, I'm going to undo that, so I want this to stay proportional. We can rotate using this here, click and drag. You can go any angle you want. And lastly, if you want to move the picture around, you just click and drag the image itself and place it anywhere you want. Let's say I want it over here. But now it still reads it as filling this section, so not necessarily recommended. Again, we'll undo it. As far as, saving, printing, all this other, it's all basically the same stuff. The slides for this week go over that quite a bit, but I'm not going to because you already know how it works. Go into your Backstage view, save as. If you want to close. And after you have saved your slideshow, you should be able to come into the Open menu here and find it under Recent Files. Next thing I want to go over is a little bit about views. We have a few different options down here. You can do a slideshow view. Oh, excuse me. You can do a slideshow view just by clicking this, and it'll start from the current slide. We also have these three choices here. We're currently in the normal view, but let's go back up to the first slide, and we want to go to the slide sorter view. And here we can rearrange our slides however we want them to be, just by dragging and dropping them. This is an easier way of doing it. You can do it from the normal view just by drag and drop, or dragging and dropping on the scroll box to the left-hand side, but you only have a limited view of your slides that way. So if you want to rearrange where your slides are, I recommend using this view instead. We also have the reading view, which just hides everything except the slides and a few things around the top and bottom. Let's get back out of this. You may be asked to use these at some point, so remember them. You've got your zoom here, same as before. Again, I know I'm going really fast. Please slow me down if you need me to elaborate on something, but 80% of this is the same stuff that we've done before. So let's say, for example, that you have chosen a particular slide format, and you realize going back and proofreading that you don't necessarily like the way that it works. You want to use something different. We come here to layout, and we've currently got this selected, but let's say we want this here. And now this one has two columns. It does not affect other slides. It only changes the one you're currently on. I've had to use this quite a bit in some presentations that I've been working on for my research. This is an additional thing. We'll come to this later. We mentioned sections. This is how you break your slides into sections. We're not going over that this week. I just wanted to cover it because it was mentioned. We'll see more of this later, I imagine. Now, let me quickly check the slides and make sure I'm not missing too many other things here. Starting PowerPoint. Yeah, no, we got this. Presentation theme, we've covered that. Enter presentation title. Title. Yeah, zooming the slide, like I said, it's down in the bottom right corner. Selecting a paragraph by a triple click. Italicize. Increasing font size. You know where that is. It's right next to the font size. It's the large A, small a to the right of the size number. Selecting a word. Again, double click. Changing text color. I'll just go over that as a quick reminder. let's say we want our top level indents to be a dark red color or some other color than plain black. What we want to do, we're here in the Home tab, font color. We do not have red in this palette. But let's go with a dark green then. And just to provide a little bit of distinction. All right, what else have we got left to cover? Saving. New title and content slides, yes. Slide titles, text placeholder. Yeah, you can see that this is a lot of repeated content. Changing the theme, we've already seen how to do that. Changing it after you've set it initially, it works exactly the same. I'll just show you. Since the first time around we only saw it affect one slide, but I want you to see that yes, it does affect all of them. So let's go with this one here, this variant of this theme, and yeah, it changes that to purple. I want to go back to blue though. Inserting picture. Resizing proportionally, moving, non-proportional. Delete text in a placeholder. I'm not sure exactly what they mean with that, but anytime you want to, delete something, just select and press your delete key. So let's say we want to change this to sample text. Now we press our delete key. We can enter something new. All very simple, obvious stuff. Theme colors, I showed you how to do that under the Design tab. Oh, adding notes, that's important. So, especially in research-related PowerPoints, you're going to need to include the sources that you had in your paper in your notes or in your slides. And usually you'll have them at the end in a references section, just like with a paper. But on each individual slide, you may also want to add the specific references called upon there. And so you just click the notes button down here on the status bar, and you can enter whatever you need. And these are also saved with your presentation, of course, but they are not by default printed with the presentation. You can print the notes, and I will quickly show you how to do that, if I remember correctly. So we have this here. We're currently looking at the slides themselves. Let's see. Is it here? Print all. Let's see. Print all slides. Current slides. Custom range. No, that's not it. All right. Well, I'll come back to it when we get to that specific slide because it does mention it. I just can't remember off the top of my head. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm really distracted by the coming severe weather. So I apologize. Spell check. Just like Excel, it is called spelling here. It is not editor. We come over to the review tab and it is right here. We click it and it tells us we're good to go. Document properties, same as Excel and Word. Views, we covered that. Starting the slideshow view, there are other ways to do that. You have this button up here, and you can see it's brought up the presentation as normal. You can click on the slides to advance, or I prefer to scroll. And once you hit the black slide, that shows that the presentation is over. And I hate that it does that because that is really painful to have go from a white screen to a black screen. Where is slideshow? Down here under this. So you can also choose to start from the current slide. So right now we're on slide 3. If we click this, like you've seen me do with several lectures, it will just start from the slide that we're currently looking at instead of going to the beginning. Printing full page slides, not gonna go over that. Preview and print a handout. Speaker notes. Okay, with the Backstage view open and these slides in the settings, where should display the print? What? Oh, and then slides in the settings area to display the print gallery. Click Notes Pages in the print layout area to select the option. Click the print button, yeah. To change the print color, the option is right there. Pretty obvious, you should have seen it. Okay, so slides in the settings area. Let's go to this. Is this what it's talking about? No? Okay. I'm sorry, I can't find it. I don't know what I'm looking for exactly. I thought I knew this. Thought I had it down. All right. Oh, maybe it's down here. Check options. No? It may be something different. I don't think you're going to have to do this at any time, printing your notes, at least not in this class. Maybe in a future thing you may have to, but I don't believe that Sam is going to ask you to do it. If it does, I will know, and so will Mr. Foster, and he'll help you out. I do believe that that's about it. PowerPoint help, we have the same kind of help options. We have Smart Lookup, we have the Tell Me box, and so I don't want to go into too much detail on those because we've done that twice already.